它的主人公永。
找麻烦。
What's going on?
You really want to talk about this now? The back is about to go. I'm like... Everybody, what's up now?
Hold on, everybody!
You're gonna be fighting.能不能不打我？ Katy, we're out of options. We 3.
Shaun! 现在你知道什么滋味了？
Just head up that ramp and... Sick.
But we need a fingerprint to open it.
Gate access.
Hurry on!
Now. And left. In the pocket.
What pocket?
We're in it. Watch your back. Stay. Okay.
Will you just stop saying stay in the pocket?
One last try. Let's straight on.
We're not gonna make it.
What they told you?
The way to honor her memory.
planning to...
Not leave.
Hey guys, today we're diving into the fantastical world of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, a Marvel masterpiece that's packed with ancient magic, modern dilemmas, and some seriously epic martial arts. We kick things off way back in ancient China, where a man named Wenwu discovers the mythical Ten Rings, not just fancy jewelry, but 10 powerful, glowing bangles that grant him immortality, incredible strength, and an unmatched ability to conquer. He forms the shadowy Ten Rings organization, leaving his indelible mark on history's most pivotal moments, operating from the shadows for centuries, a true immortal warlord. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Centuries of power had left Wenwu feeling, well, a bit bored. Conquering the world gets repetitive, you know. But then, something truly unexpected happens. He stumbles upon the fabled village of Talo, a secret realm hidden behind a mystical, swirling bamboo forest. This place is bursting with vibrant, almost glowing flora and fauna that hums with ancient energy. It's here, amidst the ethereal mists and glowing trees, that he meets Ying Li, the formidable guardian of Talo. Their first encounter isn't a friendly chat over tea. It's a breathtaking duel, a symphony of punches and blocks that almost looks like a dance. Ying Li, with her flowing movements and control over the very air around her, manages to challenge Wenwu in a way no one ever had. The metallic clang of his rings against her energy-infused strikes echoes through the silent forests, a stark contrast to the rustling leaves and chirping, and seeing creatures. For the first time, Wenwu isn't just fighting. He's feeling. He's captivated, not by conquest, but by connection. And just like that, the immortal warlord falls head over heels for the ethereal protector, deciding to abandon his rings and his empire for a quiet life with her. Who knew eternal evil could be cured by a good romance, right? Wenwu and Yingli settle down, building a life that's as idyllic as it is fragile. They raise their two children, Shang-Chi and Xiaoling, and a beautiful, secluded home, filled with the warmth of family and the faint scent of Talo's magic. The 10 rings are locked away, Wenwu's warlord days seemingly behind him. The kids grow up, hearing bedtime stories not of war, but of mythical lands and brave guardians. The gentle thump-thump of their feet as they run through the house replaces the clash of battle. It's domestic bliss, a stark contrast to the thunderous past. But peace, especially for someone with Wenwu's history, is a temporary illusion. One day, a rival gang, the Iron Gang, attacks their home, seeking revenge for past grievances. The once peaceful swish of the wind outside turns into the ominous thud of intruders. Yingli, despite her incredible skills, is ultimately overwhelmed and tragically killed protecting her children. The shattering sound of their home being invaded is nothing compared to the shattering of Wenwu's heart. Driven by a grief so profound it twists his soul, Wenwu retrieves the 10 rings, their metallic thrum now resonating with vengeance. He reactivates his organization, resuming his brutal ways, and thrusts his young son, Shang-Chi, into a harsh and forgiving world of combat training. With Yingli gone, Wenwu's parenting philosophy took a sharp turn from gentle guidance to extreme boot camp. Young Shang-Chi is immediately plunged into a brutal training regimen designed to turn him into a living weapon. This isn't your average after-school karate class. It's a full-on indoctrination into the 10 rings' deadly fighting styles. Every thwack of a practice dummy, every whimper of pain, every grunt of effort carves deeper into Shang-Chi's psyche. His mentors are ruthless, especially the masked enigma known as the Death Dealer, whose silent, menacing presence casts a long shadow over Shang-Chi's childhood. We see a young boy's hands, once small and soft, slowly hardening, his skin developing a leathery resilience. He learns to punch with the force of a battering ram, to kick with the precision of a surgeon, and to parry blows with a speed that borders on the superhuman. The snap of bone against wood, the swish of air displaced by a rapid punch, these become the soundtracks of his youth. Wenwu's intent is clear, to forge his son into an assassin who can avenge his mother's death. Meanwhile, his daughter Xiaoling, despite her immense talent and desire to train, is largely ignored, an oversight that would certainly bite Wenwu in the future. The weight of his father's expectations becomes a physical burden, pressing down on Shang-Chi, shaping every fiber of his being. It's a childhood stolen, replaced by the relentless pursuit of vengeance and power. Fast forward years later, and Shang-Chi has successfully escaped his father's clutches, leaving the 10 rings behind for a life of blissful anonymity. He now goes by Shaun and lives in San Francisco, where his biggest concern is probably parallel parking a fancy sports car. He works as a valet with his best friend, Katy, and their days are filled with mundane tasks, terrible karaoke sessions, and endless banter. The clink of glasses in a bar and the whoosh of cars driving by are his new reality. They're 20-somethings just trying to figure things out, completely oblivious to the ancient powers and deadly secrets that Shaun carries. Katy, a master of comedic timing and terrible driving, is the perfect foil to Shaun's quiet, almost aloof demeanor. He's found a genuine sense of belonging with her and her family, a stark contrast to the isolated, brutal upbringing he endured. He thinks he's successfully buried his past, the thudding memories of his training and the ringing of his father's commands. But as any good Marvel fan knows, the past always has a nasty habit of catching up, especially when you're trying to live a normal life after being trained by an immortal warlord. It's like trying to hide a glowing, magical sword in your sock drawer. It's just not going to stay hidden forever. Just when Shaun thought he was settled into his comfortable, anonymous life, the universe decides it's time for a reality check. While on a city bus, minding their own business, Shaun and Katy are ambushed by a group of 10 rings enforcers, led by a particularly nasty individual with a machete-armed razor fist. The screech of tires as the bus swerves, the yelp of startled passengers, and the whoosh of a blade cutting through the air immediately shatter Shaun's carefully constructed peace. Suddenly, the quiet valet transforms back into Shang-Chi, the lethal warrior. He unleashes a flurry of acrobatic moves and precise strikes, using everything from the bus's handrails to his own jacket as weapons. The crack of his punches, the thud of bodies hitting seats, and the clatter of his valet keys, now a makeshift flail, echo through the bus. Katy, bless her heart, is utterly bewildered, watching her unassuming best friend turn into a one-man wrecking crew. Her gasps and exclamations punctuate the chaos. This isn't just a fight, it's a dramatic reveal, a moment where Shaun's two lives violently collide. It's like finding out your mild-mannered librarian friend is secretly a ninja master. The fight itself is a masterclass in busfu, a surprisingly effective and visually exciting sequence that establishes Shang-Chi's incredible skill set. His movements a fluid dance between defense and offense, even as the bus itself careens wildly through the city streets. The Ten Rings are back, and they've brought an invitation Shang-Chi definitely didn't RSVP for, with his secret out. Shang-Chi explains his past to a still reeling Katy, who, to her credit, handles the "my best friend is a trained assassin" news with remarkable aplomb. Realizing his father is trying to retrieve a pendant his mother gave him, Shang-Chi decides he needs to find his sister Xiaoling, who also has a matching pendant. Their journey takes them to the dazzling, neon-soaked metropolis of Macau, a city that practically hums with hidden energy. The buzz of electric signs and the chatter of crowds fill the air. They discover Xiaoling isn't exactly living a quiet life. She's the formidable, self-made owner of a sprawling, high-stakes underground fight club. The roar of the crowd, the thump of bodies hitting the mat, and the whoosh of a fighter's swift kick are the dominant sounds in this vibrant, dangerous arena. The club itself is a microcosm of the hidden world that still churns beneath the surface of modern society, a place where fighters from all walks of life, and even some familiar faces hello. Abomination, compete for glory and cash. Xiaoling, sharp-witted and fiercely independent, built this empire from scratch, proving that while her father may have ignored her training, she certainly didn't ignore herself. Her resentment towards Shang-Chi is palpable, a thick, almost electric tension in the air, stemming from his abrupt departure years ago, leaving her alone with their tyrannical father. Her stony silence and pointed barbs are sharper than any blade. It's a family reunion, but with more oof and less awe. The clanging of the bell in the fight club brings signals not just another match, but a deeply personal confrontation. Shang-Chi, wanting to reconnect and also retrieve Xiaoling's pendant, challenges her in the ring. What follows is a brutal, yet strangely beautiful, brother-sister sparring match. We see Xiaoling's unique fighting style, born from self-training and raw determination, a stark contrast to Shang-Chi's more traditional, disciplined approach. The thwack of their fists, the whoosh of their kicks, and the grunts of effort are amplified by the roaring crowd. It's a dance of unspoken history, years of resentment, and longing expressed through combat. But just as their emotional and physical struggle reaches its peak, the party is crashed, and not by a fun surprise guest. The Ten Rings, led by the terrifying Death Dealer and his masked cronies, burst into the arena. The shattering of glass and the screams of the audience plunge the fight club into chaos. The Death Dealer, a figure from Shang-Chi's nightmares, moves with chilling efficiency, his every swish of a blade a promise of death. Shang-Chi and Xiaoling find themselves fighting side by side against their father's forces, a momentary and spoken alliance born of necessity. But even their combined skills aren't enough, and they are eventually subdued, their pendants confiscated, and the two siblings, along with Katy who's just trying to keep up, are taken to Wenwu's hidden compound. It's safe to say this wasn't the family reunion Xiaoling had envisioned. Inside Wenwu's compound, a sprawling fortress humming with the whirring of advanced technology and the whispering of ancient power, our captured trio faces the man himself. Wenwu, looking regal and utterly terrifying, sits at the head of a long table, the 10 rings pulsating with a faint glow on his arms. He explains his delusion. He believes Yingli, his beloved wife, is not truly dead, but is instead trapped behind the sealed dark gate in Talo. Her voice supposedly calling to him through the ethereal whispers of the rings. He intends to tear down the gate, convinced he's saving her. Talk about a misunderstanding of grief. Meanwhile, Shang-Chi and Xiaoling, still seething with unresolved issues, confront their father, their heated arguments bouncing off the stone walls. The clink of their mother's pendants, now in Wenwu's possession, acts as a grim reminder of their shared loss. During their imprisonment, they stumble upon a most unexpected ally, Trevor Slattery, the eccentric actor who famously impersonated the Mandarin. Trevor, with his endearing silliness and theatrical flair, is now living with Morris, a Dijon, adorable, faceless creature from Ta Lo that communicates through charming squeaks and nuzzles. Morris's cooing sounds are a delightful contrast to the compound's tension. Trevor and Morris, surprisingly, become their best bet for navigating the mystical path to Ta Lo, offering a comedic lifeline in a truly grim situation. It's like finding out your escape plan hinges on a Shakespearean actor and a walking, flapping dumpling dog. Only in Marvel, folks, with Wenwu's dangerously misguided plan set to unfold. Shang-Chi, Xiaoling, Katy, Trevor, and the ever-helpful Morris decide to race ahead, hoping to warn Ta Lo. Morris, with his intuitive connection to the hidden realm, becomes their whimsical compass. They plunge into the mystical bamboo forest, a place that absolutely bursts with the most stunning, otherworldly beauty you've ever seen. The whoosh of the wind through the towering, glowing bamboo stalks creates an almost musical hum. The air itself feels tingly, charged with magic. This isn't your average Sunday hike. The forest is a living, breathing entity, its bamboo walls constantly shifting, rearranging themselves into a treacherous, disorienting maze. The snap of bamboo underfoot and the rustle of unseen creatures are constant companions. They encounter fascinating, vibrant creatures straight out of folklore, the adorable, fluffy Hunden, and the majestic, deer-like Killen whose gentle neighs echo through the glades. Each step deeper into the forest is a visual feast, a whispering testament to Ta Lo's ancient and spoiled magic. Trevor, ever the dramatic commentator, provides much-needed comic relief, his exclamations of wonder and fear cutting through the palpable tension. It's a journey filled with awe and peril, emphasizing the rich, complex tapestry of this hidden world, a stark contrast to the sterile, industrialized compound they just left. They're literally stepping into a different dimension, where the laws of nature bend to the will of magic, and the very ground beneath their feet pulses with ancient life. After navigating the living labyrinth, our intrepid travelers finally emerge into the breathtaking sanctuary of Ta Lo. The village itself is a spectacle of traditional architecture, seamlessly integrated with the lush, vibrant natural world. The gentle rush of a nearby waterfall and the chatter of exotic birds create a serene, almost meditative atmosphere. They are warmly greeted by Ying Nan, Ying Li's sister and the wise leader of Ta Lo. Her calm, steady voice immediately commands respect as she unveils the truth about Wenwu's delusion. She explains that the whispers he hears are not Ying Li's voice, but the deceptive calls of the Dweller in Darkness, an ancient, soul-devouring entity imprisoned behind the Dark Gate. The gate isn't holding Ying Li captive. It's protecting the world from this terrifying creature and its legion of soul-sucking minions. Ying Nan describes the Dweller's insatiable hunger, its hollow roars having echoed through the ages before it was sealed. She reveals that Ta Lo is the last bastion against its release, protected by generations of guardians and the Great Protector, a majestic dragon. The Ta Lo villagers, with their flowing energy-manipulating martial arts, live in harmony with their environment, drawing power from the very essence of the land. This is the heart of the world building, where ancient lore and vital purpose collide. The truth hits Shang-Chi and Xiaoling with the force of a physical blow, realizing their father's grief has been weaponized by a monstrous entity. The stakes, once personal, are now cosmic. With Wenwu and his Ten Rings army rapidly approaching, the tranquil hum of Ta Lo quickly transforms into the focused thrum of a village preparing for war. Shang-Chi and Xiaoling, despite their past training, find themselves learning entirely new forms of martial arts from the Ta Lo villagers. Their movements are fluid, almost water-like, utilizing the energy of the land, an internal Kai that feels both ancient and new. The whoosh of air as they practice their flowing forms, the light tap of staff against shield, it's all part of adapting to a unique fighting style. Xiaoling, once confined to her own self-taught methods, eagerly absorbs the new techniques, her movements becoming even more graceful and potent. Shang-Chi begins to understand the true potential of his mother's heritage, his own Kai beginning to stir. Even Katy, bless her pragmatic heart, takes up a bow and arrow, receiving crash course archery lessons. Her twanging bowstring and wobbly aim provide some much-needed levity, but her determination is undeniable. The villagers arm themselves with intricately crafted weapons, their whispers of preparation filling the air. This isn't just about physical combat. It's about harnessing the spiritual energy of Ta Lo, about connecting with the very essence of their land. Ying Nan, with her calm demeanor, guides them, emphasizing the importance of unity and strategy. The stomp of marching feet and the clatter of armor outside the forest indicate Wenwu is getting closer, making every training walk and whoosh feel even more urgent. The fight won't just be about strength. It'll be about soul. The rumble of approaching engines and the stomp of 1,000 boots herald Wenwu's arrival. The air crackles with tension as the Ten Rings army, a formidable force clad in their signature dark armor, emerges from the edge of the forest, facing off against the brightly adorned, agile Ta Lo warriors. Wenwu, radiating an almost palpable aura of grief and misplaced determination, stands before the shimmering dark gate, convinced his wife is on the other side. Shang-Chi and Xiaolin make a desperate plea for him to stop. Their voices strained and urgent, but his conviction is absolute. The metallic clank of the 10 rings on his arms pulses with an ominous light. Wenwu ignores all warnings, his deep, resonant voice unwavering as he orders his men to breach the gate. This triggers an immediate, sprawling battle. The clash of steel against ancient Ta Lo weapons, the whoosh of Ta Lo's energy attacks, and the bellowing cries of warriors fill the air. It's a chaotic symphony of combat, a clash of two very different fighting philosophies, the brutal, efficient power of the 10 rings versus the fluid, harmonious energy of Ta Lo. We see the 10 rings warriors, utilizing their advanced weaponry, battling against the Ta Lo villagers, who use their environment and their unique Kai-based martial arts to defend their home. The thud of bodies, the snap of broken weapons. It's a brutal and forgiving fight for the fate of not just Ta Lo, but the world, all centered around a father's grief and a mythical prison. Amidst the swirling chaos of battle, with the clang of weapons and the shouts of warriors echoing around him, Wenwu stands before the shimmering dark gate, a picture of tragic resolve. His children, Shang-Chi and Xiaolin, fight desperately to reach him, their pleas lost in the din. But Wenwu is deaf to their warnings, his mind consumed by the illusion of Ying Li's voice. He lifts his arms, and the 10 rings glow with an intensity never before seen, their deep hum resonating through the valley. With a furious, almost sorrowful roar, he slams the rings against the mystical barrier. The shattering sound is immense, like 1,000 panes of glass breaking at once, followed by a terrifying ripping noise as the fabric of reality itself seems to tear. The gate explodes inward, releasing not his wife, but a torrent of shadowy, winged creatures, as soul-sucking minions of the Dweller in Darkness. Their hissing sounds and flapping wings immediately cast a pall of fear over the battlefield. These aren't just monsters. They are embodiments of dread, capable of draining the life force from their victims with a horrifying suck that leaves behind empty, withered husks. The screams of the first victims are chilling. Wenwu, seeing his grave mistake, his face etched with pure horror, finally understands the terrifying truth. His grief has unleashed an ancient evil upon the world, and the true battle is only just beginning. The metallic thrum of the rings on his arms, once a symbol of power, now feels like a conduit for catastrophe. With the dark gate shattered and the soul-sucking minions swarming, the battlefield shifts from a clash of ideologies to a desperate fight for survival. The screech of the creatures as they dive, and the gasping sounds of their victims, are truly terrifying. The 10 Rings warriors, seeing the horrific reality of the Dweller in Darkness and its ravenous offspring, immediately shift allegiance, joining forces with the Ta Lo villagers. It's an unlikely but necessary alliance, their combined shouts of defiance echoing through the valley. Xiaolin, demonstrating her innate leadership, quickly takes charge, barking sharp commands and coordinating attacks. Katy, surprisingly, becomes a crucial asset, her whizzing arrows finding their mark with increasing accuracy, providing vital cover against the flying menaces. Even Trevor, with Morris's guidance, plays a role, distracting creatures with his theatrical antics. The thwack of arrows, the clang of weapons, and the whoosh of Kai-powered attacks fill the air as everyone fights with a newfound unity. This part of the battle is all about teamwork and adapting to an entirely new, supernatural threat. The unique skills of Ta Lo, combined with the brute force of the 10 Rings, create a dynamic, if chaotic, defense. The minions are relentless, their numbers seemingly endless, and the chilling whisper of their soul-draining touch is a constant threat. It's a harrowing, visceral struggle where courage is the only currency. Amidst the desperate struggle, the true horror of the dweller in darkness emerges. Its immense, shadowy form begins to manifest, its deep, guttural growl shaking the very earth. Wenwu, witnessing the catastrophic consequences of his grief, finally understands the true scale of his mistake. He's been chasing a phantom, and in doing so, has unleashed pure evil. In a moment of clarity and profound sacrifice, he pushes Shang-Chi out of the dweller's path. As the gargantuan creature looms, its sucking vortex of darkness already consuming him, Wenwu performs one last, redemptive act. He transfers the powerful 10 rings to Shang-Chi, the metallic clink of them attaching to his son's arms signifying a passing of the torch, a legacy of power and responsibility. The rings glow fiercely, their hum now attuned to Shang-Chi's own Kai. Wenwu's final whisper of love and regret is swallowed by the terrifying roar of the dweller as it consumes him entirely, leaving only a chilling silence in its wake. It's a gut-wrenching moment, a father's redemption through sacrifice, and a son's reluctant inheritance of unimaginable power. The thrum of the 10 rings on Shang-Chi's arms now carries the weight of generations, not just of conquest, but of protection. He's no longer just Shaun. He is Shang-Chi, the heir to the 10 rings, destined to face the monstrous evil his father unleashed. The fight just got personal, and a whole lot more epic. With the 10 rings now thrumming on his arms, Shang-Chi channels their immense power, his movements flowing with a newfound grace and devastating force. The metallic hum of the rings as they extend and retract, striking with the impact of a cannonball, becomes his signature. He leaps into the fray, confronting the colossal dweller in darkness, whose earth-shaking growls and soul-sucking vortex threaten to engulf everything. This is where the true world-building shines, the integration of the 10 rings raw power with the refined, Kai-based martial arts of Ta Lo. Shang-Chi, guided by his mother's legacy and his own innate strength, wields the rings not just as weapons, but as extensions of his will, their glowing energy illuminating the chaotic battlefield. He's not just fighting. He's dancing, twisting, and soaring, defying gravity with the ring's propulsion. The majestic Great Protector, Ta Lo's ancient dragon guardian, emerges from the lake, its powerful roar echoing defiance. Its massive wings create gusts of wind that buffet the dweller, and its glowing scales shimmer as it clashes with the monster. The dragon becomes a magnificent ally, a symbol of Ta Lo's enduring magic, its snapping jaws and whipping tail providing crucial support. Shang-Chi rides the dragon, launching himself with the rings, delivering devastating blows, the crack of his attacks against the dweller's hide reverberating. Katy and Xiaoling provide essential backup, their arrows whizzing and whips cracking against the dweller's minions. It's an aerial ballet of power and resistance, a battle where ancient magic, modern courage, and a legendary weapon converge to save the world from an unspeakable evil. The fate of everything rests on Shang-Chi's shoulders, and he rises to the occasion with a whoosh and a thud that would make his mother proud. After a grueling, earth-shattering battle, punctuated by the final roar of the dweller in darkness as it's obliterated, a profound silence descends upon Ta Lo. The immediate aftermath reveals a scarred, but not broken, landscape. The gentle rustle of leaves and the soft lapping of water replace the sounds of war. The Ta Lo villagers, battered but triumphant, gather, their cheers of victory soon turning into hushed whispers of relief and remembrance. Shang-Chi, still with the 10 rings on his arms, stands alongside Xiaoling and Katy, taking in the scene. There's a palpable sense of peace, a shared exhale. Xiaoling, ever the pragmatist, surveys the damage, already formulating plans for rebuilding, her determined gaze fixed on the future. Katy, with a mixture of awe and her usual irreverence, comments on the sheer absurdity of it all, her light chuckle breaking the tension. Shang-Chi, having embraced his destiny and integrated his two worlds, looks out at the recovering valley, the weight of his father's legacy and his mother's teachings finally balanced within him. The 10 rings on his arms now hum with a different energy, one of protection and purpose, not conquest. It's a moment of quiet reflection, a deep breath before the next adventure inevitably calls. The soft glow of the Ta Lo sunset casts long shadows, marking the end of one journey and the beginning of another, reminding us that even after immense devastation, beauty and hope always find a way to bloom. After the cosmic dust settles in Ta Lo, Shang-Chi and Katy find themselves back in their familiar San Francisco stomping grounds. attempting to reintegrate into their normal valet lives. The clatter of dishes and the chatter of their friends at a restaurant are a jarring contrast to dragons and soul-sucking demons. They tell their bewildered friends a highly sanitized version of their adventure. It was a really intense trip. You wouldn't believe it. Which is, frankly, an understatement of epic proportions. Their quiet dinner is, of course, interrupted, because what's a Marvel hero's life without a dramatic entrance? The air shimmers with a distinctive whizzing sound, and a glowing, orange portal rips open right in the middle of the restaurant. Out steps Juan, the sorcerer supreme, looking perfectly calm amidst the gasps of the other diners. He has come to summon Shang-Chi and Katy, not for a job interview, but for something far more important, a debriefing on the Ten Rings. His stern but curious gaze immediately zeroes in on Shang-Chi. It's clear that the universe, or at least the MCU, has bigger plans for our unassuming valet. The pop of the portal closing behind them signals that Shang-Chi's days of anonymity are officially over. He's been inducted into a much larger, stranger world, where the stakes are always multiversal. And Katy, being Katy, is probably just excited about the free interdimensional travel. In the hallowed halls of Kamartaj, the Ten Rings are put under the microscope, literally. Juan, Shang-Chi, Katy, a human form Bruce Banner, and even Captain Marvel, who makes a brief, cosmic appearance before whooshing off, examine the mysterious artifacts. Their whispers of theories suggest the rings aren't just ancient Terran tech. They're sending out a beacon, a thrumming signal to something unknown and very, very far away. The glowing pulse of the rings hints at an origin beyond Earth, sparking new mysteries and setting the stage for future cosmic shenanigans. It's a classic MCU wait, there's more moment, proving the universe is always bigger and weirder than you think. But the final scene really drops the mic. We see Zhiling back at her father's compound, but this time she's in charge. She's not just running the Ten Rings, she's reforming it, dismantling the old patriarchal structures and rebuilding it in her own image. The clank of new training, the hustle of fresh recruits, and the determined gaze in her eyes signal a new era. She declares, the Ten Rings will rise again, not as an instrument of a warlord, but as something new, something powerful, under her command. It's an empowering, slightly ominous ending for a character who was constantly overlooked, leaving us all wondering what kind of organization Zhiling will forge and what role it will play in the MCU's evolving tapestry. And so, our journey through the fantastical world of Shang-Chi comes to a close, for now. This film isn't just a thrilling ride, it's a powerful testament to finding your own path, honoring your heritage without being defined by it, and forging your own destiny. It reminds us that our greatest strengths often come from unexpected places and the people we choose to stand beside. Shang-Chi learned to embrace his power, Zhiling forged her own empire, and Katy proved that even a valet with killer aim can save the world. It's a beautiful symphony of action, heart, and stunning world building that truly expands the Marvel Universe in vibrant, unexpected ways. Keep fighting your own battles, big or small, and remember that even hidden mystical villages need good friends.